Welcome back aboard the crazy train. Today it's time to do some transplanting. I have some chives that a neighbor gave me last fall, and they're starting to grow in the pots that I put them in. So I'm going to mix up some soil to do some splits and repotting. So I've got some of the soil from previous plantings out of the greenhouse, and I just add some water because it's pretty dry. Now here's a trick. When you're adding peat moss, the peat moss usually, it comes in a bag and it's really dry. It doesn't want to take moisture. It's hard to deal with. So this is a little trick that I use. Take the water and just pour it in the bag. And then just let it sit, let the peat moss soak up the moisture, and it'll be a lot easier to deal with. And this water is out of the fish pond, so it already we're inoculating everything with some bacteria. And I'll come back and do that a couple times before trying to work with it. It also knocks the dust down because it can get pretty dusty when you're trying to do something with dry peat moss. If you're dealing with dry peat moss, wear a mask. So I'll be right back with the next step. While we're waiting for the peat moss to get soaked, we'll take a look at how the rake turned out. This is the final coat I put on last night. So what I did on this project is I put a coat of resin, and I sanded it, I sprayed it green, I put another coat of resin, I sanded that and put a final coat of resin to get the result you see here. Very unique, and I've taken a piece of garbage and turned it into something that could last for years to come. So that's the rake project, and turned out pretty nice, I think. So this is the chives in question. They're starting to come back really nice, but I want to pull them out, clean them up, and repot them. So as you can see, that's really good root growth. So I'm just going to take these all apart, fluff them up a bit, split the masses. This one here I'll probably split into 3. This one I might split into 2. That one I'll just repot. And this is like really heavy. This is the type of garden soil we have around here. This heavy black soil, really good for holding moisture. But I like to add peat moss at a ratio of 1:1, or 2 parts peat moss to 1 part soil in containers, because if I use my flood watering system, then it'll wick easier and not go anaerobic on the bottom and dry on the top. So I'm going to split that all up and get some pots ready, and I'll be back. I just wanted to show you what some of these clumps look like. What they are is many plants. Like, I was going to split this one into 3. You could literally split them like this, put one of these in a pot, and it would just keep splitting and growing and expanding all on its own. So if you have a neighbor that has some of these and they want to dig one out or dig part of one out, you could start with something as simple as this, and this is even 2. You could split that again, put it in a pot, put it in your garden, and just let it go. Very easy, very hardy. I haven't seen anything like this winter kill ever, so it's a good source for a perennial. So I'll see what I'm going to do with these. I might pot a few up smaller, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm done all the potting, and here's the result. 21 small pots, 4 large ones. That's enough to supply a small community, which is the whole idea about being ready for the grand solar minimum when there's bad weather and crop losses. Is if you don't have access, or if you aren't able to do this, find somebody who is, and everybody can trade and be a part of a vibrant community that will survive and thrive in the future. So now I'll just give everything a good soak, and it'll be all set and ready to grow. Soak her all up, lock her in, and then she's good to go. So that's it for the planting of the chives. And interestingly enough, when I was getting all these used pots and never bought anything new, I came across something interesting. A net pot, looks like a 4-inch net pot, from a project that I never even got started. So this looks like the start of another project that I will feature in another video. So that's it for this video. As usual, like if you like, subscribe if you haven't, spread the word. Talk soon.